Hello there everyone. So in this lesson what we're going to do is to learn how to create a switch, and basically that's how we're switching from one shape to another shape, and I have two examples here. So let's create a new project and I'll show you how we can create this switch animation. So the first thing I'll do is to go over here, go to File, go to New Project or Project Management and click on New Project, and I'll just call this Switch like that, and I'll click OK. It's going to ask me create project. This current scene has been modified. I'll just click save all, so it can save the current scene I have, and we can start with a blank new scene. And what I'll quickly do is to create a vector level. But if I want, I can plan out the animation I want to create using a raster level, and I can use that as a guide to create a vector level. Let's just do this. So I'll click the one in the middle here, and that's our raster level. Or you can go over to the level, go to new, and can create a new raster level. And I'll hit OK. Everything is at default. So the first thing I'll do is to go over here where it says raster. At the right, that's under the palette. I'll click on raster. What I like using is a simple 2B pencil. It simulates the built-in pencils. Now you can see I have the 2B and the B pencils. You might not have this like that. So what I advise you do is to click this arrow, drag down till you find a pencil tool you like. You can see the B, the 2B, or the B pencil. And once you find any pencil you like, right click on it and say pin to the top, pin to top. That's how I was able to pin some of these favorite brushes I'm using right here. And I'll switch to the 2B pencil, just like that. And if I come over here, I'll switch over to the brush tool by pressing B, or I'll just go over here and switch to the brush tool. Now the cool thing about the pencil tools or some of these pencils is like they have an opacity. If you look at the top here, we can adjust the size. It has an opacity, and we can even switch it to eraser mode. So let's say, for example, I'm actually drawing this and creating these lines like that and creating a nice little sketch, and switch over to the eraser mode and begin to wipe that without actually jumping to the eraser tool. I can just use that to create or erase a large area. Now, you notice my eraser is actually acting funny. Let me show you what I mean. If I draw this line, I'll turn off eraser mode. Let's say I draw this nice little square shape like that. And I actually happen to switch to the eraser. It's by default on normal. So if I bump up the size by going to the size option, I can clean up this section like that. But if I use the freehand, I can select an area and it's going to wipe that area like that. So you can see what I'm doing here. So these are just numerous options. And we also have the rectangular option where you could just draw a rectangle and anything within the rectangle's bound is going to get cleared. So these are different eraser options, but that's just by the way. Let's go back to our switch and create our switch. So I want to switch between a nice little shape. So let's say we have a square shape. So I'll just draw my little square, just a nice little sketch for the square. And let's say on frame 2, I'll just drag our frame marker to whatever length. So let's say on frame 2, I want to switch this. I'll turn on the onion skin and I'll change this to a shape like this, right? Oh, let's do this. Let's give it. So I want to change to a shape like this, and I'll draw a nice little smiley face. So I want to change to this shape. So basically, I'm starting from this shape here, nice little cute smiley face, like that. Switching from this to this, like that. And we can even do a little bit of cleanup. So I'll just get rid of this section, like that. All right, nice. Now we're getting somewhere. I'll just clean this. It doesn't have to be Perfect. And don't be worried about your drawings. You just want to animate, not drawing. So we want to switch between this to this. Now, if you play this, like that's happening so fast, right? So the trick is to add a little spacing, and then we can add another object in between these two shapes to actually make the switching interesting. So if I'm on frame 1, if I press Shift F, it's going to add a blank frame between the first drawing and the second drawing. So here in the second drawing, this is where things begin to get interesting. I'm going to add a little stretch, right, and create some anticipation. And to do that, I'll turn on the onion skin. So this is our original shape, and I'll just start drawing a little shape here. And basically what I want to do is to squash this shape down and increase the width like that, just a little bit. Have the eyes here. Let's put the eyes back to where they are so we don't have much difference. But the eyes are lower now, and the mouth is going to be slightly stretchy. So this is what we have. So I'm squashing the object, basically pushing it down, just because to show a nice little magic, like it's going to just squish and do something, then quickly swap to this shape. So that's why this anticipation pose is there. And next I'm going to do an overshoot, and basically this is our final image. I think what I'll do is try and make this the same height, but no problem. So this is our final image. So what I'll do on the next frame, on frame 2, let's do Shift F and add another frame on frame 2. And what we want to do is to create an overshoot. Basically, I'm going to stretch drawing 3, the drawing in the future, this one that has the green little onion skin. I'm going to make this shape taller, right, by stretching it. Now we could draw the shape. I'll show you a nice little trick, a way you can actually copy content of your drawings. So what we're going to do next is go to the select tool or press S, and we're going to select this, drag a selection around this shape, hit Ctrl C to copy, and we'll just go back to this drawing and hit Ctrl V. Now we actually have a copy of the drawing. We're not copying the entire layer, just a copy of the drawing. And what I'm going to do is to drag this point down to the bottom here and push this object up a bit. So what happens is we actually notice it's stretching from here, anticipation, overshoot, and then it's going to settle back to our basic drawing. So you can actually see that our base drawing, we add a little anticipation by squashing it down, and then once we've squashed it down, we can add an overshoot and then settle back to our main drawing. I'm going to set my frames by going to XSheet Scene Settings and setting this to 12, like that. And I'll just drag this to say 8, like that. And let's just see. Now it's happening so fast. All we have to do now is to play around with the timing. So to play around with timing, I'm going to go to the first frame, click on it and drag this maybe 4 frames. And then at the end, we're going to hold the drawing for say 3 frames, like that. And let's just play around and see how this looks. I'll just add 2 more frames here, like that. And let's just loop this. I'll add 1 more frame here. And there are no rules to your timing. You can actually play around with the timing. And you can see how that looks, really nice and interesting. What we can do to smoothing out this animation is to add a little bit more, right, around here, just some easing in to that shape. So we're squashing here, but we can add an easing in. And this is what I mean. So this is going to squash down into the green one. And we're already on, let's reference the first one. So what we can do is to add a little easing here. So what we can do is to draw another drawing like that, just to ease into this. Now this is not necessary. You might not say, hey, I want to do this. You don't really have to do that, but let's try it and see now. Good. And then when we have our shape here between 4 and 5, let's add another frame. So I'll click on frame 4, hit Shift F to add a frame, and between 4 and 5, I'll turn on the onion skin. Now this is our frame in the future. It's actually down. This is our frame from the past, which is actually up. So between the down and up frames, let's add another drawing like that. So between our two poses, let's add another drawing in between that's going to smoothen this shapes like that. And I'll just add an eye and a mouth. So we're using a raster level, and basically this is your classic pixel level like you have in a lot of drawing applications. And I'll just turn these two off just to see how it looks like right now. And let's play this. I think I like how it turns out. So in our next lesson, what we're going to do is to clean up the drawing, create a vector level, and basically trace out our animation, change the background to make it more appealing by applying some colors. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next lesson. Thank you for watching.